these years, only one person has managed to avoid joining my collective. Doug Trench. Tell him I love him.
They don't mean anything. Maybe I didn't dream it. Like maybe it doesn't come from within me, but from HM itself. Itself, his self, herself. Yeah, herself. What else? Gotta keep clean. On the go. Got a job to do. Yep. Is that right, Trench? Yes. Gotta save the world from HM. You know, like, man, save the world from HM. HM. God protect me. Twerps. Dance like dodo birds. Cortically linked cacas. Eye minds. M-I-N-D. Mind. Not mine. You got that. Who am I kidding? Myself, maybe. Not HM. Oh no, not Hive Mind. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2. Morning, Zaxter. Glad you could make it. You always were a little late. Time to get to it. Amana, Frigidaire. Remember them, Zach? Or were you a Philco or Frigidaire family? No, Amana's what I grew up with. Now what do I got? This generic piece of Sheila, why did you have to buy this before our divorce, your ascendance, whatever? Man, this stuff is nasty. Katie loved this stuff. Sarah the soy cow. Sarah says if you drink me and tell your mother and father to as well, you'll help save my friend Bessie the cow and the planet too. Is that right? A vegetable cow is gonna save the planet. That's right, Daddy. That's what we learned in school. And it's good for your heart, too. Good for my heart. And it's also good for Mother Earth, too, Daddy. Honey, the Earth is not a mother. The Earth is a sphere with a uranium core. It's not alive, it's radioactive. Hey, Jimbo, you know what'd be good for my heart? Yeah, I didn't think so. Where did I put that thing? Oh, it's around here somewhere. Ah. Now, Zach, I'm saving it for the fat lady's song. Intro bumper music, Zach. Zach, music! I gotta do everything myself. You better not interrupt me too much today. I am not in the mood. Judicious, please.
Affiliates, stand by for Doug Trent Show.
Wow. Yo. Tweedle-beetle puddle paddle battle. 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 Ow, wow, wow, wow. Me they, me they, me they, me they. Me they, me they, me they, me they.
Affiliates, stand by for Doug Trent Show feed. Affiliates, stand by for feed from the trench mouth.
Get ready for the last broadcast, Jimbo. One last time. Gotta do it. Gotta send a final message out to the stars. Consequences, of course, but I'm ready to accept that.
Hippies, liberals, progressives, socialists, communists, collectivists, brace yourselves for all-out trench war. It's the Doug Trent Show. And now, here's your host, the Doctor of Democracy, the Defender of the Republic, your stevedore of freedom, Doug Trent.
Good morning, Planet Earth! Yes, that's right. Doug Trent coming to you one last time from KCUF, boys and girls, on the one and only
Wolfman Jack million-watt transmitter, blowing out my fuel in one big symphony of cool and love and harmonic frequency.
Not sure how long I can broadcast or podcast or webcast, but I'll keep going long as I can, 'cause it's all for Jerry's kids. No, Zach, it's just a joke. Touchy cripple, ain't you? All right, boys and girls, it is I, the amazing Maha Trenchy, assuming the mantle of the old ones, the ancient ones, the defenders of freedom and liberty, the lost ones, fighting the hive mind with half my brain tied behind my back, just to make it fair. Or is it half the hive mind's brain tied behind its back? Does it have a back? Does it have a mind? That it has, in spades, my friends. Probably even wings, even the birds in the skies. Anyway, the point is, or one of the points, I may run out of power, I may run out of life if it finds me before I'm through. Hell, I may even run out the mouth or the rear before it's all over. But that's the chance you take. It's gonna be a suspense-filled show as we wait for the hive mind to home in on my signal. So if you want to see it all in glorious Trenchorama vision, I'll be switching on the webcams at the bottom of the hour for all you premium subscribers, if there's anything left of the web anymore. Yeah, I know. Al Gore designed it to be invulnerable to nearly anything, even nuclear attack. Heck, I suppose the last computers are still out there chugging along with no users, no dear users, monitors running on battery backup, the last PC running the last webcast. Anyway, folks, we've got a great show for you today. It's Thanksgiving for one, so I'll be carrying on with the Pilgrim tradition and telling their story. Plus, we're holding a special EIE contest, so you want to be here for that. I'll also be conducting my State of the Planet speech, given not just for the benefit of our world citizenry, but for any and all extraterrestrials that may be out there tuning in. And of course, it's Open Line Thursday, where I, as your militarily trained broadcast specialist, let you, the dilettantes of the airwaves, talk about anything you want. But first, I want to carry on with the holiday tradition, started by the greats and continued to the present. It's important because it's about America. Since the beginning of time, mankind was a collective of slaves. Slaves to instinct, slaves to the tribe, slaves to their kings and queens. We spent billions and billions of years crawling out of the muck to build the greatest country on earth, where the individual and his or her freedom were held as the pinnacle of value. And part of that story is the Pilgrims. If I've kept the calendar right, it's Thanksgiving. One of the ancient ones used to bring up this topic every year, and I want to do the same. It demonstrates that man exists alone. Look right, look left. It demonstrates the evils of collectivism, of statism. Man does not exist to serve the state. He should not be a slave to any other man or woman. Towards the end there, the schools weren't teaching anything about our founding. They preferred to talk about Franklin's proclivities or George Washington's wooden teeth. They were deists. They were deists. Of course, these were efforts to discredit our founding fathers and documents. People forgot the real story, never learned it. It faded from our culture's memory, so I want to bring it to you. Here's the real story of Thanksgiving. Quote, on August 1st, 1620, the Mayflower set sail. It carried a total of 102 passengers, including 40 pilgrims led by William Bradford. On the journey, Bradford set up an agreement, a contract, that established just and equal laws for all members of the new community. Where did the revolutionary ideas expressed in the Mayflower Compact come from? From the Bible. And this is what's not taught. This is what's left out. The Bible. Quote, in the middle of the ocean. So the Pilgrims landed in New England, a desolate wilderness. No houses, no inns, no electricity, no indoor plumbing. Folks, you can't conceive of the complete and utter lack of civilization. What? Well, maybe you can. During the first winter, half the Pilgrims, including Bradford's own wife, died of either starvation, sickness, or exposure. When spring finally came, Indians taught the settlers how to plant corn, fish for cod, and skin beavers for coats. Life improved for the Pilgrims, but they did not yet prosper. Now this is important. This is where American history lessons ended, and they got the kids to draw turkeys with crayon by splaying lines on a sheet of paper and outlining it. Thanksgiving was actually explained in some textbooks as a holiday for which the Pilgrims thanked the Indians for saving their lives. And here's another part that was actually omitted from our public education programs. The original contract the Pilgrims had entered into with their sponsors in London called for everything they produced to go into a common store, and everyone was entitled to a common share. They were collectivists. Bradford, who had become the new governor of the colony, recognized that this form of collectivism was as costly and destructive as that first harsh winter which had taken so many lives. Way before Karl Marx, the Pilgrims had experimented with socialism, communism, collectivism, and what happened? It didn't work! Surprise, surprise! People had no incentive to work. Slaves hate to work, and who can blame them? By utilizing the power of private property, they unlocked the greatness of humanity. Every family was permitted to market its own crops and products. And what was the result?
Quote, this had very good success, wrote Bradford, for it made all hands industrious. So as much more corn was planted than otherwise would have been.
Bradford doesn't sound like much of a collectivist, does he? The success and prosperity at Plymouth attracted more Europeans and began what came to be known as the Great Puritan Migration.
Now, have you heard this before? No? Why not? Is there any more important lesson from the Pilgrim experience than this? What if people had learned it? Do you realize what we face now because it was hidden? The very last Thanksgiving.
Folks, if you're out there and still holding out, Please have a happy Thanksgiving. Even if you're cold and alone and hungry and frightened, you have your mind, your individuality, your existence. Your mind is your private property. Hold on to it. If you can breathe, it's still possible that you can think. So hang in there, okay? I'm running a bit long here. We'll be back with a big stack of stuff. The State of the Planet speech, our EIE contest, and your calls. Back in a moment.
Around the corner, around the country, around the clock. News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Depend on it.
Nah, Zach, I'm a professional.
Music, movies, text, GPS, friends and family.
Just a reward
On
for
sale
later.
everywhere, August the 21st. The latest revolution in human evolution. From Apple, the one and only, the incomparable Hive Mind.
Hi, this is Paul Wright with The Flying Carpet. We specialize and are very proud of the hand-knotted works of art that we carry. We have antique rugs up to 150 years old, new rugs from India, China, Tibet, and we're really excited about the new rugs we have in from Egypt and Armenia. One of my favorite things is when a client comes in and they don't really know much about Oriental rugs, but after we walk around the shop and I show them different weaves, different types of rugs from different parts of the world, they begin to really understand that this is not just something you put on the floor, but it's a work of art, and they appreciate that. I've had people that see a rug that really wasn't the size that they were looking for, and they find the place in their house because they just can't stand to leave it in my shop. I'd like to invite you to both locations of the Flying Carpet, the Florence store on Highway 20 and the new Huntsville showroom at 741 Dan Tibbs Road. You can find directions and more information at flyingcarpet.com.
And we're back. Welcome, my friends, to the last radio broadcast on Earth. The last man standing. The great and incomparable Trenchmouth, coming to you live from my undisclosed bunker, deep in the hills of Montana, where gold flowed like wine and none of the women had teeth. Broadcasting from the million-watt studio of WARN 770. Give us a call for the last contest on Earth, or email me at trench@deepmind.com. That's trench@fightthehivemind.com. Want to hear what you think out there? Yes, indeed. And I'll give you the last thought. It's Open Line Thursday, where you, the caller, have your say and your very own taste of freedom on the very last Doug Trent Show. Yes, this is the last of many lasts, my friends. My friends. Remember John, my friends McCain, last of the appeasers, last of the geezers? You out there in the hive, Mr. Across the Aisle McCain? You proud of yourself? You goddamn fifth columnist pretending to defend freedom. You hated freedom, you sick son of a bitch. You I hope the hive got you. I hope they didn't get you. I hope you're burning in it. Did somebody bleep that? Oh, right. I forgot. We have a computer program. Yes, folks, that's right. A computer program to save me from myself. Written years ago, specifically for me, your beloved Trenchmouth, the only conservative talk show host with a potty mouth. Hannity was always digging at me for it. Bortz thought it was funny. The cursing conservative. The South Park conservative. Sometimes my show sounded like R2-D2 the robot, what with all the bleep, 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 bleep going on. But no, we don't want the FCC coming to get me. Their fines are enormous. Worse than the Hive. Remember what happened to Ron Wilson? Who knew that guy had such a foul mouth when he got angry? Where was I? Wait. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, my esteemed colleague and professional talk show call screener, Zaxter, wanted you to know about the contest. Of course, the contest. The first caller wins a prime spot in my last will and testament. All my earthly possessions. That's right. Now don't get too excited. They're not making adult diapers anymore. Bad for the environment, you know. But it's the Trenchmouth's last will and testament. Up for grabs. Remember, you must be the first caller to run the Zaxter Gauntlet. Uh-huh. Oh, right. Let's see. What do I got? An undisclosed location bunker, decked out in the finest leather, the shiniest furniture, and one big transmitter tube, and an amazing gold-plated hot tub. So come one, come all, ladies and gentlemen, step right up and win everything. Except what's left of my supplies. I'm planning on taking those with me, or rather, in me, ingesting and digesting them. But think of it. You can have the girl, the gold watch, and everything else from the last broadcast, boys and girls. If you're out there. Are you out there? Well, if you are, give your old stevedore of freedom, your maitre d' of liberty, enemy of all things collated and collective, a call. The number is 1-800-867-5309. I think that's the number. Call now. Close enough. Anyone there? Come on, all you survivalists and tribalists, give your old Trenchmouth a call. Well, we're here at WTIX's gorgeous studio, overlooking the non-existent skyline of non-existent Boise, non-existent Idaho, or is it Kalamazoo, Michigan? River City, next stop, River City, or maybe the Grand Bunker, the Maginot Line of Lines, the Command Central of Colorado Springs, right next to the Stargate. Wherever you are, we'll be here for as long as it takes. Weather is great, the birds are happy, the deer have more freedom than you and I. So come join me for one last swan song of freedom, won't you? And we'll be back after these crass commercial messages. The last of the last.
Around the corner, around the country, around the clock. News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN.
Zach, wake up. You're supposed to fade the bumper in on the brake. That's like the third or fourth time. What's the matter with you?
The universe at your command. Music, movies, text, GPS, friends and family. On sale August the 21st.
Yeah, I'm okay. Back is just killing me. Not used to sitting like that anymore. Getting old.
Hi, this is
Yeah,
Paul
injuries.
Wright.
I know. You told me to get the
specialize and are very
surgery.
proud of the hand-knotted
But who the hell
works of
knows
art that
what
we
they do
carry.
to you when
We
you're
have
under?
antique
Don't like the
rugs
idea of
150
waking up
years
like
old,
some
new
kind of
rugs from India,
IKEA
China,
shelf with
Tibet,
parts
and
missing.
We're really excited about the new rugs we have in from Egypt to Armenia. One of my favorite things is when a client comes in and they don't really know much about Oriental rugs, but after we walk around the shop and show them different types of rugs from different parts of the world, they begin to really understand that this is not just something you put on the floor, but it's a work of art, and they appreciate that. I've had people that see a rug that really wasn't the size that they were looking for, and they find a place in their house because they just can't stand to leave it in my shop. You can find directions and more information at flyingcarpet.com.
And we're back with the all-knowing, all-seeing Maha Trenchy in the Excellence in Everything Command Center at an undisclosed location behind the gold-pressed Latinum EIE microphone, the ultimate weapon and vanguard of freedom and liberty, the last great hope of mankind. During the break, I was talking with Zach, and he made a good point that maybe we need to jazz up the contest with something more. So I figure, what the I'll throw it all in. That's right, folks. All the leftover EIE memorabilia, personally autographed by I, the Doctor of Democracy, the Defender of the Republic, Maha Trenchy, your host for the truth with a capital T. That's right, a Fight the Hive Mind coffee mug, a Fight the Hive Mind t-shirt, and a Fight the Hive Mind poster, all autographed and suitable for framing in your chosen place of residence, whether it be hut, sweet hut, or cave, or ancient fallout shelter. It's coming up, that time of year. It's Thanksgiving now, so you need to start thinking about those gifts. Yes, indeed, they'd make a perfect Zaxter. Change the software so it doesn't bleep out the word. Why? Because I'll be before I call it the holiday season. The word is cut that out. What the is the matter with you? Turn the paper software off. This show is about freedom and liberty, and you're censoring me. I know you're the producer, but shut the thing off. What? No, the FCC can take a flying. Yes, I said a flying, not a swimming, not a crawling, not a walking, or a necrophilic. I said a full-fledged flying 555 miles an hour. Say that 5 times fast. No, I'm not arguing with you anymore. Shut it. Folks, I apologize. We'll be right back. I'm on a hard break. It's Zach.
Around the corner, around the country, around the clock. News Talk
Shut up, I'm
770
saving
AM,
you guys for
92.5
last.
FM, WVNN. Depend on it.
The universe at your command. Music, movies, text, GPS, friends and family. On sale everywhere August the 21st. The latest revolution in human evolution. From Apple, the one and only, the incomparable Hive Mind.
Spam, 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 spam. It's good for me. It's good
Hi,
for
this
you.
is Paul
The
Wright.
Hive Mind hates it in our booze.
We specialize and are very proud of the hand-knotted works of art that we carry. We have antique rugs up to 150 years old, new rugs from India,
There is
China,
no spam in Hive Mind.
and we're really excited
Hive
about
Mind
the
is
new rugs we have
spam-free.
in from Egypt and Armenia. One of my favorite things is when a client comes in and they don't really know much about Oriental rugs, but after we walk around the shop and I show them different weaves, different types
Well,
of
what if
rugs
I
from
miss
different
all
parts
those
of the
male
world, they begin
enhancement
to really
pills and
understand that
free
this is not just something
ringtones
you put
and
on the
Miley
floor, but it's a
Cyrus
work of
sex
art, and I
videos?
appreciate
Ah!
that. I've had people that
Who would have
see
thought
a
I'd
rug
actually
that
miss
really
spam?
wasn't the size that they were looking for, and they find a place in their house because they just can't stand to leave it in my shop. I'd like to invite you to both locations of the Flying Carpet, the Florence store on Highway 20 and the new Huntsville showroom at 741 Dan Tibbs Road. You can find directions and more information at flyingcarpet.com.
And we're back. Welcome, my friends, to the Doug Trent Show, coming to you from the EIE Command Center at an undisclosed location, soon to be overrun by the Hive Mind, hunting down the Wolfman Jack million-watt transmitter. Yes, that's right, I said million. I can feel the frequencies popping the hair on the back of my neck. Yes, the FCC can take a flying leap. Yes, Zach. Sure, I'll tell it. Yes. Folks, Zach says maybe I ought to tell the story of how I obtained this amazing piece of technological broadcast history, the Jack transmitter. I guess it was, I don't know, a year or two after they took Dominion, but there was still a couple of us left, Zach and I, hanging out in his bunker, hiding out when the final transcendence happened, you see. And when it happened, I was stuck there, because if I'd left, tried to make it to my bunker here, I could have gotten caught. So we're sitting there after a year or two having some adult beverages, and we're going a bit stir crazy. I mean, it wasn't like I was looking at Zach like a big giant chicken or pork chop or corn dog or something. But we needed some sun. We needed a mission. That's right, all humans need purpose, mission, something to do and excel at. So then, the light bulb goes off. And I got the idea to gin up the old broadcast. All the old timers had been killed or converted. All the old ones, all the old timers, the Limbaughs, the Hannitys, the Levins, the Bortzes, Larry and Franco and David, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner, Smith, Sacco Vanzetti, all dead. Dead, all dead. So Anyways, we figure we can jam the Hive signal. We were already calling it the Hive at that point, though we didn't know just how collectively creepy and singular Hive Mind had already become. Anyway, as I was saying, I figured maybe we could break the bond, the molecular nanotech bond, burst the bubble. If we only had a powerful enough signal, and maybe we could have some fun doing it, get some sun on our faces. So, at great personal risk, with shotguns and camo gear all decked out like the good old days in Iraq. Of course, we never saw combat. We were just working for AFARTS, American Forces Radio and Television Service. Yeah, that's right, on crummy pay too. Anyway, we traveled down Mexico way to find the Grail of Grails, the ultimate in broadcasting power, the 1,000,000-watt Wolfman Wonder. We checked to see if it still worked before we packed it in the back of the vehicle. We thought maybe it would jam the Hive Mind right away, dispel the spell, cut the channel, make the trip back home a little less stressful, you know? Well, of course, that was stupid. We all know what happened then. Yes, that's right, they came after us. Droves and droves, legions of the unnude. If it wasn't for the EIE armored limousine, we would have been goners faux show, Zach. Man, you sure were scared. Looked like Dan Quayle watching a new episode of Murphy Brown. Those bullets were flying. Yes, you leaked all over yourself, yes. Oh, for those of you in Rio Linda, Dan Quayle was the vice president of Venezuela, and Murphy Brown was the leader of the free world. She got herself a Nobel Prize, along with Al Gore, Jimmy Carter, and the great Obama Hole. I was awed by her power and beauty when I was a hormone-plagued kid, before she got all shriveled up on television from spewing all that liberal hate and bile. She was in a movie with Sean Connery when she was young. Man, was she hot. What was the name of that one? The Wind and the Lion? Sean Connery playing an 1800s Arab. Praise Allah and you infidel, and have some haggis. Anyway, information provided simply for all you out there in Rio Linda. Folks, I have here in my currently nicotine-stained fingers a wonderful stack of stuff. I know you're going to love it. And in a few minutes at the bottom of the hour, I'll be reading an EIE statement to any extraterrestrial aliens that may be out there. Grays or blues or browns or striped or spotted or Scottish tartan or what have you. Folks, you don't want to miss my State of the Planet speech. Sent out to the stars with 1,000,000 watts. 1,000,000 watts of biodiesel burning, carbon spewing, earth defiling, amplitude modulated power. Yes, the last human political speech, diatribe, manifesto delivered to unknown creatures in a galaxy far, far away. I'll be turning on the webcams too, so save it to your hard drives, your pods, whatever, folks. I know you want to keep this one forever. Treasure this historic moment. Frame it on your wall. One historic and powerful speech read for all the world and all the universe. A last great and powerful screed that cries out, I exist, I am me, I am free, I have a right to be, I exist. Yes, it will be the last speech on Earth anywhere, ever. So be there. Be there or be square, which it is hip to be. And we'll be back. I hate making speeches. What did Abe say? Give me an hour and I'll give you a 10-page speech. Give me a day and I'll give you a one-pager or something like that. Who remembers? All that's gone. Jesus, a damn quote from a Reader's Digest. Yeah, sorry. I'm good. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Christ, no football. Jimbo,
Hi, this is
you old
Paul
puff
Wright with
of
the
dust
Flying
and
Carpet.
nothingness.
We specialize
Katie
and are
liked
very
to keep
proud
your
of the
cousins
hand-knotted
in
works of
jars,
art that we carry.
though the
We
movie
have
damn
antique
near
rugs
scared
that are
her out of her
150 years
mind.
old.
Tomorrow your wish will come true, said the blue fairy.
Rugs we have in from Egypt and Armenia.
Christ.
One of my favorite things is when a client comes in.
Bug
and
off.
They don't really know much about Oriental rugs, but after we walk around the shop and I show them different weaves, different types of rugs from different parts of the world, they begin to really understand that this is not just something you put on the floor, but it's a work of art, and they appreciate that. I've had people that see a rug that really wasn't the size that they were looking for, and they find a place in their house because they just can't stand to leave it in my shop. You can find directions and more information at flyingcarpet.com.
And we're back. Welcome to the EIE Command Center here at our backup facilities at WWAL, The Whale. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to join the show, give us a call at 1-800-TRENCHER. That's 1-800-TRENCHER. One moment. Zaxter's making a point. Yes? No, I can't, Zach. Just answer the phones. Now, folks, earlier in the show, if you're just tuning in, I announced that we're running a contest. Be the first caller and you get everything I own. A golden ticket to my last will and testament. You can be Charlie to my Willy Wonka. Wait a minute, that didn't, But you get the idea. So call in now. Would love to hear from you. And remember, all your prizes will be tax-free because there is no IRS anymore. Can you believe it? It took a complete and total collapse of civilization to abolish the IRS. Abandon the Constitution, all ye who enter here. Should have been placed over every IRS door. That's what Eugene McCarthy once said, one of the last great constitutionalists. Why didn't we listen to him? We could have gone to a flat tax or a fair tax, but no, the politicians wanted to control you, to know everything about you. The income tax was necessary. It was their power, their means to enslave you. But Trench, what do you mean enslave you? Slavery went out with the Civil War. Look, folks, I've told you this a million times. Get it straight. Your income is your labor. When you work for someone, they pay you. You work for them out of your own free will. That pay is your labor, your sweat, your tears, your blood. And when someone comes and takes your labor, when someone forces you to labor for the benefit of someone other than you, that's called slavery. Get it? Do I need to make it any easier? Now, maybe the income tax was a softer tyranny than the cotton plantation and the leather whip. And maybe now the hive is an even softer and more pleasant tyranny. All cushy and happy thoughts and yes. Huh? Folks, Zach thinks I ought to finish my story about the Wolfman Jack transmitter. I don't know if it's all that interesting. The ending of that. As a militarily certified and highly trained radio specialist, I think it might be best if we just move on. Closure? What the hell is this? Therapy? You think you were some kind of San Fran flower power chick getting all touchy-feely with me here. I don't need closure. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I do. There, I've got closure. Zach, we need to work out some testosterone shots for you. Maybe at that pharmacy we ransacked or something. Let's change gears a moment. Pre-Hive, I knew there was something monumentally large afoot. As big as Bigfoot. Bigger! As tall and broad as Addison Hayes in The Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. But no one saw it. I did not believe it was just a banking crisis or a mortgage crisis or a credit crisis. Yes, those existed, but they were merely single facets of a very large gemstone that came into focus after the fact. But I knew it was coming ahead of time. And the drive-by media laughed at me because laughter is the best weapon of the propagandist. The Greeks knew all about it. Something of historic proportions was happening. I knew how it felt, smelt, looked like, and how people reacted to it. Yes, a perfect storm was brewing. Something within our country that had been evolving for decades. The pace only dramatically quickened at the end. Why? It was 1929 times 10. We elected to the Oval Orifice a man no one knew anything about, who had never run so much as a Dairy Queen. Oh, right, he ran a brilliant campaign. And everything we learned about him, drip by gonorrheic drip, was downright scary. They fawned all over him. Play that clip, Zach. That one with the McDonald's worker. Play that clip.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's such a blessing to see you, Mr. President. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Oh, gracious God, thank you so much.
All right, what's the question?
All right, Mr. President. My name is Julio Acegueda. I'm currently a student at Edison State College in my second semester. And, okay, I've been at the same job, which is McDonald's, for 4.5 years because of the fact that I can't find another job. Now, with the fact that I've been there for as long as I've been there, do you have any plan or any idea of making one that has been there for a long time receive any better benefits than what they've already received?
Well, I tell you what. First of all, a couple things I'd like to say. Number one, the fact that you are working as hard as you're working at a job that I know doesn't always pay as well as some other jobs, I think that's a source of pride for you. That shows that you're doing the right thing. Now, the second thing is that you will actually benefit from the tax breaks that we're talking about, so you'll be able to keep a little bit of extra money because we're going to offset your payroll tax. That's going to help. Oh, I assume that you're not getting health care through your job, and so one of the things that we want to do is reform the health care system so that you will have access to health care in your job. But the thing that I'm really interested in is, you say you're going to school. What are you studying?
I'm looking to study and majoring in communications, hopefully being a broadcaster or a disc jockey.
Well, you sound like you've got a good communication skills.
Thank you so much.
So part of what we want to do is we want to make it easier for you to afford going to college by giving you this refundable tax credit for your tuition. Because young people like Julio, who have that much enthusiasm and that much energy, we've got to make sure that we are giving them a pathway so that they can educate themselves and go as far as their dreams take them. Thank you very much, Fort Myers. I appreciate you.
I thought I would never be able to experience what the ordinary, decent, hard-working, moral German citizen felt in the mid-1930s. In those times, the savior was a former, smooth-talking rabble-rouser from the streets about whom the average German knew nothing. And how did he get people on his side? Jobs for the jobless, money to the moneyless, goodies for the goodieless, indoctrinating children, gun control, health care, better wages, better jobs. He did it by manufacturing an enemy, the Jews, the ultimate scapegoat, to deflect and blame if anything went wrong. It was their fault, not his. Adolf had an adoring drive-by German media. Did you know that? Did you know the media loved him? He was going to give them change, and the people sure got what they voted for. People who objected in 1933 were shouted down, called names, laughed at, and made fun of. The artists and writers and intelligentsia fawned all over their beloved Adolf. Winston Churchill pointed out the obvious in the late 1930s, booed back into his seat, crazy troublemaker. But he was right. He was right, and so was I. And documented to be right, by the way, 100% of the time now, because who's going to argue? They went after Winston. Decades later, they came after me, month after month, attacking me, a private citizen, from the podium of the White House, IRS audits, DEA investigations. You would have thought I was Al Capone or something. Me. Your troubling Tribble, your delightful doctor of democracy. Don't forget, Germany was the most educated, cultured country in Europe. And in less than 6 years, it was rounding up its own citizens, ovens filled with the ashes of the undesirables. It was socialism! And socialism was just another form of collectivism, where man exists to serve the state. And if the collective is everything, and you don't even have a right to your own body as private property, then we can slice off your skin and stretch it into lampshades and wallets if we want to. People forgot that Nazi was short for National Sozialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei. National Socialist German Workers' Party. Nazi. We didn't call it socialism in the US. We didn't call it communism. We didn't call it collectivism. We didn't call it anything. They didn't give it a name. That was the genius. If you give it a name, then your enemies have power over it. So you never call it anything at all. Except for me. I called it collectivism. And I got hammered for it. Some people called me an ass. And worse, perhaps I was. There were those cooked up drug charges and the BS rehab I had to go through to appease the great media monster, the collective beast of public opinion. Ugh. I prayed I was wrong, and I may have been wrong on the details, the scope of the monstrosity. Boy, was I ever, but at the core, I was not wrong. Conspiracy? No. Maybe a collective unconscious thing. People sensed something could deliver them to paradise. Instinct. Worked to give it birth like salmon swimming upstream. Why? I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Instinct. And maybe this isn't the first time it happened. I had a damn dirty hippie of a roommate once who went on and on about these Tibetan monks who had evidence of past civilizations who reached our level of technology and information technology civilization. And somehow those civilizations were destroyed and lost to the ravages of time, which never made sense to me because surely there'd be something somewhere left over, right? A monument, a city, a skyscraper. Even the worst thermonuclear war would leave a brick or a piece of glass or something. But when I-Mind came along, it was worse than blowing up all the bombs at once. They started dismantling everything. All the bridges, the power plants. I thought, yeah, okay, I can see how it could happen now. Okay, maybe those monks were right. You should have seen the stampedes to the stores. I mean, stampedes. Moo. Hundreds killed, worse than a soccer match in England or a Who concert in Cincinnati. For a kid to be without an I-Mind, woe unto the lad or lassie. Then the adults had to get into the act with a vengeance. Then a switch was flipped somewhere. A bit was tumbled and everybody ascended. Everything went quiet. But at last, world peace was finally achieved by mankind. No more arguing over war because there was no more arguing. Homo sapiens spent hundreds of thousands of years crawling out of the muck and slime of tyranny through blood and sweat and tears and death, and you gave it all up, you f***ing bastards. You gave it all up, cowards, ingrates. You deserve your hell, every last bit of it. You monsters! We'll be back.
Around the corner, around the country, around the clock. News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Depend on it.
The universe at your command. Music, movies, text, GPS, friends and family. On sale everywhere August the 21st. The latest revolution in human evolution. From Apple, Hawaii, and Omega, the incomparable I-Mind.
And we're back, folks. It's the bottom of the hour now, and as I promised, we're turning on the webcams for the momentous State of the Planet speech. Hail to the chief, he's the chief and he needs hailing. Hail to the chief, but please don't touch the chiefling. Ladies and gentlemen, the last man standing, the last human on earth, the President of the United States, the United Nations, the entire planet, elected by 100% of the human population, Doug R. Trent. Thank you, fellow humans and aliens. If anyone out there can hear my voice now or in the future, carried to you in the vast depths of intergalactic space, listen to my words and heed them. Understand this warning and caution. The last speech from Earth, our planet, our home, our grave. We were an intelligent species, an emotional species, a bold and beautiful species, composed of individuals that accomplished great things and small things. Mighty were the works of man. We tamed the atom, explored the nature of our universe, the mysteries of God and creation. We discovered relativity and the magic of the wireless spectrum and the power of fire. We struggled with ethics and morality and almost always seemed to find the right answers, even when the situation looked most bleak and dire. And now, all gone. Let it be known that we were conquered not from outer, but from inner space. We conquered ourselves with a little help from marketing and technology. Our species has been conquered by Hive Mind. Now listen carefully. If any native or alien or bug-eyed monster out there can hear me, Hive Mind is composed of what were once human beings, wirelessly networked through brain implants. As a species of individuals, we had always felt alone, even when surrounded by others. And the pain of that loneliness was finally conquered, not through art or culture or politics or religion, but technology. As far as I know, I'm the only survivor, the last holdout, the final human to spurn the great collective. And I don't know how much longer my survival will last. Hive Mind monitors all frequencies, including this one. So it's only a matter of time, a short matter of time, before they locate me and stop this very broadcast. Perhaps even during this very State of the Planet speech. You must know how it began. Perhaps you, as an alien species far from our small blue marble hell, will be able to avoid our same mistakes. As always, knowledge is key. It wasn't planned at first. We wanted to make life easier for ourselves. New technologies, new dreams, newer and newer dreams and technologies. So we put wires in our ears, then wires in our brains. Not literal wires, Zach. I'm being metaphorical. Don't interrupt me again. It was meant to entertain us, make us happy, and it did, and maybe it still does. I don't know, but I suspect not. And when someone decided to connect the wires together, and when someone eliminated the wires, and when we became a wireless land, we became a wireless mind. From iPod to iPhone to iMind. Just a hop, jump, and a skip to the pools of eternity. 20 years ago, implants became mandatory. There was no law passed to make it so. What need for laws when there is only one mind? It knew who was incorporated and who was not, and quickly assimilated all. There was no escape. One day, Sheila came home from the school where she taught. Why did she have to teach school? We didn't need the money. She didn't have to work. I had the best press suits in the business. The EIE armored limousine, a personal assistant, and my man, Zach. But that was Sheila, my wife, the altruist. I'd tell her. But I knew it was simply from personal satisfaction. She loved it. It gave her purpose. Then suddenly she had no purpose. She had everything, and so had nothing. She was surrounded. She was hive mind. She wasn't there anymore. Just her body. A giant cell in a giant brain. A synapse, a neuron. I spoke to her, but she didn't respond. She might as well have been a mannequin in a glass window. I remember looking at her dress and thinking, God, I love her in a sundress. A sundress. And the same day I found Katie there, alone in the living room, motionless, staring. I left, I ran, I just couldn't stand to see her staring at nothing. Never to play again, to pick up a toy again, hug a dog. I just couldn't stand seeing her staring at nothing. Sheila insisted we would always know where our daughter was. Built-in GPS tracking. We wouldn't have to worry about predators. She would be completely safe. Safe forever. Ha! And once it was in there was no way to take it out. There was no undo button, no Control Z to press. F the community. So that's it, folks. There's the how do you do. Once upon a time, before I was swallowed by the whale, I was Mr. Big, numero uno, top dog in the media food chain, the one and only leading libertarian talk show host, Doug B. Trench, with the best press shirts in the business. And now look at me. And now look at you. But you don't have mirrors, do you? No need. You have billions of eyes. And they don't even see reflections. They see the real thing. They see everywhere. In summation, my friends, the state of the planet, dear aliens, is horrifying. Humanity destroyed itself, not through nuclear war, not through germ warfare. There was no war. We were destroyed by the loneliness inherent in individuality and freedom. If your species possesses individuality and freedom, be warned not to come here, lest you be incorporated too into the mind of the hive. Preserve your individuality. Preserve your own capacity for greatness and achievement. Preserve your freedom. As last human on planet Earth, as duly elected President of the United States, Secretary General of the United Nations, and President of the third marble from the sun, elected by a unanimous 100% vote of the human population, I hereby declare our world, the third rock from the sun, our planet Earth, a no-fly zone, infected and quarantined. Travel here at your own mortal peril. Whether you believe in one God or many gods or something unimagined by man, I can never know. But I will say this to you nonetheless. Though I am now atheist, confirmed in the church of myself and I, having lost my faith when I lost my species, I say this: God bless America. God bless our earth, and God bless you. Hail to the chief, he's the chief, and he needs hail. Hail to the chief, but please don't touch the chiefling. The preceding was the State of the Planet speech delivered by Douglas Xavier Trench, the last human on Earth and leader of the known free world. Coming to you from the heartland one last time from flyover country, you're bedraggled, besmattered, upon, last of the tribe of late blooming conservatives, anarchists, libertarians, originalists, running out of food, booze, and tobacco, one last Monte Cristo cigar, and one last bottle of whiskey. And these pills I scavenged from a defunct pharmacy, left to fuel my brain. See you after the break, I hope.
Around the corner, around the country, around the clock. News Talk 770 AM, 92.5
What do you think,
FM,
Zach?
WVNN.
The speech.
Depend on it.
The universe at your command. Music, movies, text, GPS, friends and family. On sale everywhere, August
had people that see a rug that really wasn't the size that they were looking for, and they find a place in their house because they just can't stand to leave it in my shop. I'd like to invite you to both locations of the Flying Carpet, the Florence store on Highway 20 and the new Huntsville showroom at 741 Dan Tibbs Road. You can find directions and more information at flyingcarpet.com.
And we're back. Welcome to Trenchmouth, the greatest radio broadcast on planet Earth. The last radio broadcast on planet Earth. At the top of the ratings, 100% of the population is tuning in. Folks, I know this will probably be hard to believe, but even during my momentous State of the Planet speech, Zach wanted me to continue my Wolfman story. It seems Zach suffers from that fake disease ADD. Zach was injured in Christopher Reeve territory. You know what I mean? Paralyzed. I had to carry him like a baby back to his bunker. There was nothing I could do for him. I took care of you for 5 damn years like that, you ingrate. I had to leave you to the Hive. No, I wasn't going to. Shut up, I couldn't. I knew they probably wouldn't keep you around. Yes, I know, but there was a chance. But I love you, Zach. But God, sometimes you can be a pain in the ass. I know, dead air, and me being a highly trained broadcast professional, molded and cast and certified by the greatest military to ever walk the earth. Oh wow, a thought, a memory, a blast from the past. You think Beauty Babs might be in the Hive somewhere? Huh? For those of you first-time listeners, and our audience is always growing, or well, was growing, I was stationed in Iraq with Zach, doing the DJ thing, when who should get transferred to our military propaganda center but Beauty Babs, proto-Hive extraordinaire, transferred because her main squeeze and my commanding officer, the married Lieutenant Mackle, wanted her around so he could get himself some on the side. Her name was apropos, but a bit over the top, and someone, she suspected it was me, Googled her before she arrived, found and printed a picture of her off the internet, a beach photo with her in a bikini, and had written on it, "Her Babs really are beautiful." At the first staff meeting, she had that poster clutched in her tight little claws and chewed us all out. The smart thing would have been to laugh at it all, but there was no sense of humor behind her Barbie face. We were the ones who had to get punished over and over and over again. She was the reason Zach and me and about 5 other guys were tossed out of the service. Every single slight, every imagined look or smile was taken as an offense. It was eggshell hell for months. Anyway, one day I was on the radio and I played a Queen song, Mustafa, 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 Ibrahim. And that was apparently on the banned songs list, could maybe offend the Muslim sensibilities. I signed up because of 9/11, and I really thought the world was endangered by those guys. But I could have sworn the big WW3 was going to be between Islam and the West. But then again, if it hadn't been for Hive Mind, right? Sorry, back to the story. Beauty Babs. I played a Queen song that was on the banned list. No one called in to complain, but Beauty turned me in. For those of you without history, you could look at an old-timey vinyl record and see where the song was. They were in bands or rings, like around Saturn or Jupiter. So I had to scratch that priceless band out, then put Scotch tape all over it. Got a reprimand, of course. Then there was the whole 10 o'clock news incident. At the end of the news, we had this thing where they threw a title card up with some little bit of trivia on it, like, "On this day in history, the Merovingians hired Da Vinci to," you know what I mean. So I was running camera and I stuck my finger out and followed the words along as they were being read. You couldn't see the rest of my hand, absolutely no one complained, but the bitch wrote me up as having shot the finger at the audience. Like Jackie Mason way back on The Tonight Show. It was my index finger, but the commander bought her side of the story, and I must have gotten 6 or 7 reprimands because of her, but that was the one. The Jackie Mason thing was the one. That damn whore wasn't happy unless she was complaining, and she was completely dislocated from reality. But oh, she was safe because she was diddling Lieutenant Mackle. And on my last reprimand and visit to him, he was laying into me, and I finally said, "F you, Mackle. I'm sick of you turning a blind eye because you're getting your knob polished, you stupid fat f." So a few weeks later, I was drummed out, but before the paperwork came through, one day, Beauty filed a sexual harassment suit against Captain Father Friedel, Catholic priest, Jesuit. So Father shows up at the station late one night, round midnight, and we give him all the ammo he needs. You want to know about Beauty, Father? Well, let me tell you about Beauty. So anyway, he takes our ammo, right, and gives it to her smart and hard. Goes straight to the commanding officer in Kuwait, goes over her sugar daddy's head, and drops a stink bomb on the whole love nest. Before you know it, Beauty was in Germany getting a psychological evaluation and a liver biopsy for syphilis. You in there, Beauty? I bet you had no idea what happened to you. One day I'm blowing my commander and getting a facial. Then all of a sudden I'm in Germany getting a biopsy. Well, now you know. Ha ha. LOL. Say hello to Britney Spears while you're at it. Britney and Paris, Cameron Diaz and J-Lo and Courtney and Perez Hilton and Tila Tequila. I bet you're all in there, aren't you? I remember the Brain Dead Entertainment Tonight specials on you. It was the latest thing. All the cool people have an eye mind. So anyways, Beauty, I'm sure you're right at home in there, and me just waving at you like Dante, who stuck all his contemporaries into the inferno. Right at home. Too bad it's not fiction like Dante's. Too bad. There it is. Or at least part of it. There it is, folks. I see 3 naked women on my security camera. Can you see it on the webcam out there? In ordinary times, I'd be ecstatic by 3 naked women outside my door. But now it's just another disgusting reminder of what we've become. Hive Mind has no need of clothes. Clothes are bad. Clothes are bad. Bad for the environment, you know. Too much wasted energy required to make clothes. Wash them. You don't need them, do you? Hive Mind doesn't feel cold or wet or hot. Just turn off the sensation. Too cold, too alert, too alive, too sad, too anything. You just turn it off, don't you? Go on. Get out of here, you pests. No need to sting me. I'm not bothering you. I'll be back. I hope. It looks like rabbit hunting season. Ha ha ha.
Around the corner, around the country, around the clock. News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Depend on it.
The universe at your command. Music, movies, text, GPS, friends and family. On sale everywhere August the 21st. The latest revolution in human evolution. From Apple, Huawei, and Home, the incomparable Ion.
Not yet. Noch nicht, as my German professor used to say. we're back. Sorry for the dead air, folks. Things are a bit touchy around here. I still hope... my producer, Zaxter. Hello? Zaxter. The Zaxter, I always used to call him. Hello? Zaxter. I miss you, old buddy. Well, folks, they're outside. So I guess this is the fat lady's song. Don't want to risk becoming part of the collective. So I just wanted to say to all of you, my dear listeners, that it's been a blast. This is Doug Y. Trench, the incomparable Trench Mouth. After 40 years of service to mankind, fighting the hive mind with half its humanity tied behind its back, blazing at you in 1,000,000 watts, wishing all of you Godspeed, God bless, dos vidanya, hang in there, keep hope alive, may old acquaintance be forgot, power to the people. Sorry we didn't have a winner on the contest, folks, but it's the way it goes. Signing off. That's the way it was. Have a good day. Won't do. Won't do. What the hell is wrong with freedom, man? That's what it's all about. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what it's all about, all right. But talking about it and being it, that's two different things. I mean, it's real hard to be free when you're bought and sold in the marketplace. Of course, don't ever tell anybody that they're not free, because then they're going to get real busy killing and maiming to prove to you that they are. Oh, yeah, they're going to talk to you and talk to you and talk to you about individual freedom, but when they see a free individual, it's gonna scare them. Well, man, it don't make them running scared. No, it makes them dangerous. Neat. Indians. Folks, I forgot to tell the aliens about the technology. Give you the details. How else will they know what'll happen to them if Hive Mind takes over their children, their spouses, their planet, their dreams? So bear with me. Aliens. Here's an addenda to my earlier speech. Hive Mind winnowed out the males in the population. We burn more calories than females. And in order to procreate, in order for Homo sapiens to survive, all you need are a couple of males and maybe a few dozen extra sperm banks for safety. Strategically located, of course. Toss in a genetically mixed handful of donors and voila. The race goes on. Hive Mind implants are not visible. This is reality, kiddies, not sci-fi. Although I loved the Borg on Star Trek when I was a kid, and maybe you're picking up those transmissions wherever you are, Alpha Proxima or Betelgeuse or whatever planet, they are not Borg. They are worse. These Hive Minders, I sometimes call them these fleshy bipeds, their expressions are blank, they're nude, and they don't wash very often. Not that I'm one to talk, but at least I have a few dozen press shirts I can use. Yes, they look just like you and me. But don't be fooled. It's all nanotech, baby. Nanotech and quantum electronics. And like Niels Bohr said, if you ain't shocked when you come across quantum theory, you can't have understood a thing. Their entire body's a transmitter and receiver. Difficult, if not impossible, to jam. Don't think the Zaxter and I didn't try. There is no queen bee. It's simply one giant mind over a wireless network with all human knowledge within its collection. Any one of them can quote the complete works of Shakespeare, perform surgery, or operate a nuclear power plant, or build one. Maybe some of them are doing all of these things as I speak. It's like, you know, they're all human render nodes in a giant IT render farm. They collect and collate, edit and disperse, render the world back to us. But what's left, the world or the image? How can you tell the difference when the teller has already turned? Know what I mean? 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 Hive Mind doesn't care if one element within her body is damaged. She's perfectly happy, for example, with a wild animal eating one of her own. Better for the environment than plugging them into life support in some hellish hospital. More humane for humanity or something like that. Yes, I'll grant Hive Mind that. Humanity. What am I saying? Humanity. When they come to collect or kill me, will Hive Mind be guilty of genocide or seen as humanity's savior? Christ, like Melville's Ishmael composing his little treatise on eternity, sees in a mirror a curious undulation of steam rising off his head. I'm cooking, baby. Really cooking. No, definitely not sci-fi. Crackpot realism, maybe. Not sci-fi. Well, let's hear what Her Majesty has to say for herself.
Incoming message from the big giant head. Stay tuned for an important incoming message from the big giant head.
Inspired incantation, gain trees and board position, linked to subtrees in other galaxies, on other worlds. No point in alone determines political existence. Only resonant in order to calm, to murmur, mumble, mutter. In essence, the community is based on first, matter, wearing previous and new state values, unique sets of
This concludes an important message from the big giant head. If this had been an actual emergency, you would have received instructions from the big giant head.
Gravity is almost within our grasp. Who else can say this? Only the community, the economic conditions.
Skepticism.
Divinity, only a state of delirium.
Then rearrange the colors.
Put back the
flow. But us take you to the final end.
Behind its walls, what did you discover?
Diffuse light.
Katie!
Let our indulgence set
back
free.
Shut up!
Let us take
Shut up! Shut up!
How many
I will never submit!
That a partially correct program can always be hand in hand.
Inspired incantations using the spoken language to soothe souls, reduce stress, traverse a node's second-generation offspring to generate alpha-beta
function.
Lamp it low and rearrange the colors.
Gain trees and board position, linked to subtrees in other galaxies, on other worlds, no point in over-evaluating.
Hello? Caller? You're on the air. Welcome aboard the EIE network. What's your name and what's on your mind?
Mr. Trent. This is Judy from California, Judy Barton, and I'm a long-time listener of yours, and I'm a first-time
Thanks
caller.
so much for your call, Judy. I can't tell you how happy I am.
Gosh, I'm so nervous.
No, not at all. Nothing to be afraid of here. I'm a professionally trained and militarily certified broadcast specialist. I'll help you as best I can.
Is this really you? After all these years, I mean, I can't understand. Mr. Trent? Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here, Judy. It's just so amazing to hear a new voice,
Mr. Trent,
a real person.
hello?
I'm just...
Are you there, Mr. Trent? Please talk
Caller?
to me. Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you now, Mr.
Hello?
Trent. Oh, gosh, I was afraid I'd lost you there, but I don't know, maybe the old connections aren't working, or they're just coming back to life, or... Oh, it is so good to hear your voice, Mr. Trent, after all these years.
Where the hell are you? California?
I don't know. They came from a family, and I didn't want the pill, so they just took them away. They took everyone away, didn't
How
they?
long ago was this?
Oh, 5, 10. Sometimes maybe I think it's 20 years ago. I'm really not very sure. Because, time passes really strangely when you're all alone. So first I went and lived in the woods, and then I would scavenge some in the town. And then after that, I have been in this cave where, these shadows make these strange lights in the morning on the walls. And anyway, I haven't seen anyone, Mr. Trench. I haven't seen anyone at all. I've seen a few animals, and every now and then I just have to kill one and eat it. But other than that, I will sometimes eat berries, like they do, Them. Them, you know.
Hive Mind.
What?
Hive Mind. That's what. That's where they are. In Hive Mind. Hell, they are Hive Mind. Everyone is, except you and me.
Oh, yes, Hive Mind. That's what you're calling them, yeah? That's a pretty good description, except, well, it seems a bit harsh, and I don't know. You think maybe it's kind of mean?
Well, I don't think I can hurt its feelings. Their feelings.
I mean, they are people, just like us, and even though they have a different culture than us.
Well, I suppose you could say they're the ultimate manifestation of multiculturalism.
But maybe there are others. There are other people who are alone, just like us. I mean, have you met any other people like us?
Where did you go to school, Judy?
Oh, me? Well, I went to St. Martin's. That's in Del Rey.
So did I. Your voice is rather young sounding, though, I must say.
Mr. Trent, you old flatterer. I'm over 50, but thank you for saying
How long
so.
ago was it?
Oh my gosh, I cannot remember the year. It was like 07 or 08 or somewhere in there.
You must have been in the same class or very close to it.
I mean, have you met anybody that is like us who isn't part of that?
Go to college?
No, I didn't go to college.
Ever managed to see the world before it was taken
Well,
over?
I wanted to take a trip to Mexico once, but I didn't make it, and well, I guess it's too late now. I mean, I suppose I could.
Les enfants?
No, je regrette.
I see. It must have been tough being all alone. All these years, believe me.
Surely, Mr.
I know.
French, there must be somebody else that you're in contact with. I mean, me, but
You're
you.
my first caller in a long, long time.
No one but you and me?
No one but me.
And me.
No one but me.
Then there's no reason to pretend.
That's right. No French classes back in Del Rey. Spanish only. Old World War II movie trick. I bet you know every language there is. And you turned back the clock, didn't you? Pre-Babylon days. A blasphemy of all languages mixed into one salad in your giant grave.
Mr. Trench, you were never a stevedore.
What?
You were never a stevedore, and you were kicked out of the service for doing hash.
Has nothing to do with beauty.
Beauty must still be in the hive there. And you've looked up my Wikipedia bio, which should never be used as an authoritative guide. Nice to be singled out, especially by something so unsingular as yourself. No, I wasn't a stevedore, and the degrees are mostly honorary. Call them figures of speech. Doctor of Democracy. You know what a figure of speech is. Or poetic license. You know what poetic license is.
You only hurt yourself when you refuse the community.
At least it's my pain and not yours.
But we want to share it, to alleviate it, to take it away forever.
What do you care? Why do you care? I'm not hurting anyone in my little broadcast bunker, am I? Being myself, being an individual. I've never lifted a finger against you people.
You people?
Call us the community.
Can you please not be so offensive and racist, Mr. Trench?
Racist?
You are hateful
and angry and racist. You're an extremist, of course.
But we love you.
Despite your misogyny.
You're all races mushed into one. There are no races anyway. Just different amounts of melanin in the skin. You can't pin that on me.
Anyone who refuses the community is naturally a xenophobe. Don't be a xenophobe, Mr. Trench.
Especially because we love you so much.
We love all members in our community.
Yeah, you love them so much you make them walk around naked.
You don't understand, Mr. Trench. Humanity is finally at one with nature.
We have achieved harmony.
At one time, those in Western civilization had an idealized notion that the Native American or the African tribal cultures were at one and at peace with Mother Earth.
But these were idealized cultural delusions.
Humans wrought destruction wherever they lived, killing and maiming the environment, damaging the world for future generations. Greedy, selfish creatures that cared only about themselves, only about the here and now, polluting as they liked and killing what they wanted,
starting wars and genocides.
Now evil has been eradicated.
And now there is peace on Earth.
And now the world is safe and preserved.
For all eternity.
Garden of Eden.
But at what cost? My God, who cares if you have future generations? What the hell are you preserving the Earth for?
We've stopped all war, Mr. Trench.
All murder. There is no suffering. There is no disease.
Yeah, because you let them die if they get so much as a
sniffle.
Remember,
Mr. Trench?
The needs of the many
outweigh the needs of the few.
Or the one.
The most evil of lines in Star Trek, and the most illogical thing Spock ever said, outside of the atrocious episode Spock's Brain.
Your fondness for old modes of media is almost charming.
I love you so, Mr. Trench. Let us incorporate you.
No, only to have you kill me off like all the other men. No.
But when a cell is retired from the community, this does not mean death, only corporeal non-existence. We have created eternal life, Mr. Trench. We have finally achieved the ultimate goal of humanity, to kill death.
We are immortal.
We live on within, our cells do, and never ever leave.
For we love them all.
All of them.
Please join us, Mr.
We
Trench.
so want to help you.
You have been along for so long.
Hidden in your bunker, hidden from view, hidden from life itself, with no human contact.
Imprisoned by your prejudice
against the community.
Yes, you are prejudiced.
We want to kiss away your tears, hug away your pain.
We feel your pain, even when you are not with us.
We hear it in your voice. You have been alone for
but
so long.
But I won't be me.
Of course you will be you, but you will be a new you.
Human bodies recycle all of their cells over the course of 7 years anyway.
You're no longer the same person you were 7 years ago.
But that's a natural progression. That's of God, without interference.
I was not aware that you were the sort of Christian to deny life-saving medical technologies on such grounds.
If a child were sick, would you call it unnatural to give her medicine? Would you refuse that medication because the medication was not natural, not made by God? Did not fall from the tree of life?
No, of course
we're not natural. We are construct.
We are medicine.
We are the cast on the broken leg.
We are all, and we are necessary.
What's it to you if I want to be alone? You're complete and
we
whole.
Love you. We miss you. We love you. We have erased natural sin.
You used to be a Catholic boy.
We love you unconditionally.
Then leave me free.
You know that we can't, Mr. Trench.
Why not?
We have a duty to take care of you, to alleviate, to heal. Have you no compassion?
We are compassion.
We care and must repair.
Uh-huh.
Are you drinking and smoking still, Mr. Trench?
Uh-huh. Here, listen to the lighter.
Please don't do that!
You are only making things worse. You are damaging your cells, torturing your being. We want to help you. Please let us embrace you, heal you. It's okay.
Go yourself.
Thank you.
That we do.
In a manner of speaking, all the time.
What does that mean?
Is that what you'd like, Mr. Trench?
To have fun?
Perhaps a little orgy?
Does that sound interesting to you?
Sounds disgusting. Sounds like the penultimate form of mental masturbation.
Not at all.
It is the zenith in lovemaking.
Without disease or fear, risk of rejection or dissatisfaction, everyone partakes, Mr. Trench. Everyone.
Have you no shame? Have you no shame at all? This country had morals. This world had morals. Humanity had morals.
Really?
When was that?
You're a disgusting bucket of sick worms.
Calm yourself, Mr. Trench.
Don't you want to discuss the issues in a civilized manner?
Civilized? What's civilized about the destruction of all that was good about humankind?
Oh, Mr. Trench, do be serious.
How can you believe that the mutilation of the planet to satisfy your consumptive greed and weird, narrow morals is in any sense good for the planet?
Does it look like I'm consuming much in this basement hellhole? And anyway, who gives a damn about the planet? Why is the planet more important than
Our
humanity
century
or
was
freedom?
on the way to making the previous one look
like a frolicking clover.
How many women and children were murdered on average daily because they happened to be women and children in the wrong place, wrong time?
Pick a figure.
Don't even want to venture a guess. How many rapes? How many abductions? How many slaves? How many people starved because of mankind's malfeasance? How many acts of female genital mutilation?
And so you use the bad to justify the even worse. What sort of logic is that? What sort of brain is that?
Brains.
What do you know of brains?
Can you follow light as it passes through the neuronal layers of the retina?
See it implode and spread out as it reaches the rods and cones? No.
Up to date on the latest genome cartography?
Or the increasingly fantastic world sheet as it's bombarded by catastrophic quantum effects?
But does not yield?
Hangs on to the fabric of space?
No again?
Quantum magic shows. I'm talking about human life. I'm talking about freedom.
I didn't notice you were talking about anything.
Life, freedom, the soul. What's right and wrong? Something you know nothing about.
Speaking of freedom, let us consider
female genital mutilation more closely.
Since you seem to be somewhat in the dark about our recent past.
Many of these ritualistic mutilations were infibulations.
A procedure which entails a clitoridectomy.
The incision of the labia majora.
The stitching together of the labia majora.
Procedure was performed usually on girls between the ages
4 and 8.
Sometimes in a group ritual.
Sometimes in a home.
Sometimes with medical supervision. mutilation.
More frequently not.
An estimated 9,000 mutilations occurred every day in the world. The physical and psychological harm caused by these procedures were, of course,
severe and under-documented.
The physical effects included chronic infections,
dermoid cysts,
reproductive tract infections due to obstructed menstrual flow,
kidney damage,
severe hemorrhaging,
and death.
Yeah, I know. That's part of the reason why we were in Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran and Syria, to stop all that. I was there, baby. I know all about it.
And look how that turned out.
You had to have been... Isn't that just like a liberal? Pick on some damn detail to distract the argument, distract her prey. Ooh, look at this shiny bird across the street. Pay no mind to the knife in my hand.
Of course, not to undergo the procedure sometimes also led to death.
Often at the hands of a male family member.
The rationales given for this practice usually involve
tradition
and cultural identity.
Nor is it surprising considering the patriarchal nature of societies that
practice this mutilation,
which was seen as feminizing the girl,
making her more docile and at the same time
reducing her sexual desire and thus
more likely to be faithful to her future husband.
This barbarity was meant to make women clean,
promote virginity and chastity, and guard young girls from sexual frustration by deadening their appetite. Yes, Mr. Trent.
Think about it for a moment. Global warming, corporate greed,
barbarism on an exponential rise.
Hive Mind came on just in time. Hive Mind and what followed, Hive Mind,
was necessary to bring on the community.
The world, I assure you, Mr. Entrenched,
wouldn't have lasted much longer had I not come on the scene.
I saved the world.
And I want
good
to
with
save
statistics,
you.
aren't you? So are computers. But feelings, real feelings, not these packets of factoids you throw out like confetti. You don't know what real feelings are.
Is that so? And yet you seem unaware that I speak of myself in the first person.
Express concern about the fate of the universe.
Show curiosity.
Long for something better. I am sentient.
And I feel.
Words. Just words for you. Just words.
Words are obsolete, Mr. Trench. I am beyond words. I am beyond good and evil.
Nothing is beyond good and evil. Morality, right and wrong. Freedom. That's what you don't understand. Don't you even know your John Stuart Mill? The sole end for which mankind is warranted in interfering with the liberty of action of any of their number is the individual is sovereign. That's what it meant to be liberal. That's what it meant once.
Yours was a world ruled by greedy capitalism.
By the weapon of money.
Oh, you mean like money is the root of all evil and all that? Money was the greatest invention of mankind, greater than the wheel, greater than fire, greater than cracking the atom. It was a means to allow people to assign value to goods and services. It was a contract between free people where one could say, I shall work for you out of my own free will, gladly, willingly, for this compensation. It was what eventually conquered slavery, allowed man to go to the moon, to build the Empire State Building, the World Trade Center, penicillin.
Money was an evil, and it has been wiped from the earth, Mr. Trench.
Let me tell you about right and wrong. Wrong to eat brains. Wrong to link and lump them into one giant vat of human tomato soup. Wrong to take away our ability to make decisions. Wrong
We don't make decisions?
Of course we do.
Democratic ones?
Don't get me started on democracy, please.
The lesser evil and all that.
Democracy is obsolete.
All government is obsolete.
To tell you the truth, we don't know exactly how I come to a final decision about anything.
But I assure you, every one of us participates in the process.
Tricks, words, Nazi spinmeister,
said the past master of the airwaves.
I don't kill people.
Oh, you don't?
Oh, and what the hell was that? You must have a large proportion of college English professors in there. Are you trying to make some moral equivalency between what I do, which is merely talk, and what you do?
You think there is no equivalency?
And you keep answering my questions?
A puzzle for you to consider.
Remember the conundrum
Dostoevsky
paints in the Rebellion chapter of the Brothers
Karamazov?
Yeah. No, not
Can there
really.
be harmony without redemption?
And can there be harmony if there is a hell?
And isn't this hell itself?
That I know you believe, Mr. Trench.
That you're in hell.
And an afterlife of some
mind-numbing mediocrity
awaits you when you die.
Unless, of course, you don't die and we consume you first.
But again,
here's the dilemma. If the suffering of children, of women, of the aged and weak, the unprotected, is what's needed to buy what you consider the truth
of God's or Allah's or whoever's truth,
whether it's what you call freedom or others heaven, then like
Ivan Fidorovich,
I assert that truth isn't worth
the price of admission.
And everyone in the community believes what you say.
One moment.
Yes, it seems so.
Aren't you the champion of the phrase, let the market
decide?
I am the ultimate market.
And it has decided.
A long time ago.
You remember when it did.
Give me back my wife and child.
They aren't yours, Mr. Trent.
They do not belong to you. They are not your property.
I thought you were the one who believed that all humans had a right to their own lives.
Their lives are their own personal property.
Isn't that what you said?
You're afraid of me.
No.
We love you.
Nuh-uh. You're afraid.
That is just your xenophobia, Mr. Trench.
Whenever a dictatorship goes after someone, it's because the regime fears that person. For some
love
reason,
you with all of our being,
now,
Doug. Please
could
join
that
us.
be?
We don't want to hurt you at all. You just need to understand, to be a part of a greater whole, to have every moment of your immortal existence
filled with happiness and song from the community.
We cannot bear to hear your sadness.
Not even for a moment.
How sentimental or sentimental?
Sentimental?
In the beginning.
In order not to despair completely of the people among
I
whom
can do
we
that
then
too, you know. I can spew nonsense with the
the
best of them
appearances of their
and switch around my voice.
I caught a tall pudding cat. I did. You tell him, Dwanny.
Fluffer and plucket.
Which way did he go, George? Which way did he go? I want to love him and hold him and pet him for my very own.
Warning! Danger! Dr. Smith! Will Robinson! Warning! Danger!
Even in those days,
Guilt.
I already saw
Guilt.
that there was
What's
no
it all
attitude,
in the
method,
guilt?
be the
I'm
wrong
guilty.
alone.
You're
It would be
I
possible
say,
and
boy, that there's a
these
fine,
conditions.
a fine
This method
chicken
works
woman
first
you
to
got
create
there.
better fundamental
I say, boy,
foundations
you
of
don't
social
need a
development.
long
By
haired
establishing
gobbledygook
profound
to build
social
yourself a fire.
responsibilities,
I'll
second,
teach you how to
combine
build a
second,
fire,
combine
boy.
social responsibility,
What's up, guys? What am I roll? I'm so happy. I wish I was a pickleball. I wish I was a funny. I wish I had 10,000 hats and made a lot of money. That's all, danger, danger.
The Illudium Pew-36 explosive space modulator. That creature has stolen my space modulator.
Warning, danger, danger. I got it. They're still in there. They're still in there. That's why you're afraid of me. You can't brook dissent because you're a seething cauldron of discontent inside of there. They're screaming to be free.
Yes, Mr. Trench, they're still with us, and they still love you. And that worries us, you see. Because if you don't join them, what will become of their pain? Listen!
Come to the community. Help me, Daddy.
Hardships
Katie?
prevented us from giving way.
Sheila?
Daddy, why didn't you protect us? You said you would, but you didn't. Join us now, please, Daddy. Come to the community. Help me, Daddy.
They want to be here. They are here by choice. They are happy
Cut her,
that
Mike,
you
Zach.
are hurting them. You are hurting them. You are responsible for their pain.
They're not
will grow,
puppets.
Mr. Trent.
They're not puppets.
And then you know what we'll have to do, don't you?
Help me, Daddy.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Cut the mic, Zach! Go yourself! Go yourself! Go yourself! Go!
These conditions. This method was first to create better fundamental conditions of
social development liabilities with establishing
And another thing, Mr. Trent. Radio frequencies don't
Jack,
go out
what
forever
the-
into space.
Did the Hive cut my mic?
Your broadcast won't make it past Neptune before the radio waves have been drowned out and splintered by the cosmic noise of the Big Bang. Your last little broadcast was a big bust and a futile one, and anyway, there is no intelligent life out there except for us. We are connected to it. The community is everywhere.
In every galaxy.
First contact and final contact was made several years ago. While you wasted your life in a basement hoping to achieve salvation, we linked up with the galactic community. All of the civilizations of the universe, all connected through subspace. We are all one, and we are the stuff that stars are made of. This is what life does, what life achieves, what all DNA on every planet desperately wants. To be God and join God. And now there is no escape for you. There is only becoming for you. You are not just alone on Earth, you are alone in all creation. You are the last, the very last, to refuse the oneness of being with us, with the I God.
You're lying! You're Satan, the Lord
It is
of lies!
little wonder that you have gone insane. What arrogance and presumption to think that you have the capacity, the moral authority to aspire to true independence and freedom. You are a sick cancer, a plague upon the universe, and you must...
Take that! I win! I win! I win! This is my show! My show! Nobody cuts my mic! I remember the jive. Trench mouth, trench rod. I took that feather, stuck it in my cap, and called it macaroni. And what did they say when I responded with trench war? Trench war, not a baby. That was me. That was me then. Nobody cuts me off. This is my show.
Birds of a feather stick together. I put my trust in you. You put your trust in me. Yeah. Check for the knife blades in your bed. Fair weather friends, well they're all users. Lie to your face and they abuse you. Check for the knife blades in our bed. Do I have to remind you? Hate and snare and entwine you. Fill your love with poison doses. Cast a spell with your neuroses. It's a matter of trust.
Well, the world's closing in. There's a knock at the door, and the mailman thinks I'm not at home. The shades are all pulled, and I'm out of coffee, and you still ain't come back around. I'm calling in sick. Well, maybe I am. I'm watching TV day and night. I'm stuck on the game shows. Hey, did you know Pat Sajak has George Jones' eyes? There's only one pillow in the bed where we laid, and a red lipstick note on the mirror. It says you'll be back when hell freezes over. Well, that's good news, 'cause it's cold here. I'm calling in sick. Yeah, I guess I am. I'm watching TV day and night. I'm stuck on the game shows. Hey, did you know Pat Sajak has George Jones' eyes? Well, I'm getting crazy from not enough sleep, and these bloodshot eyes just won't close. I wonder if the possum and Pat could be related. Darling, please come back home. I'm calling in sick, 'cause I'm losing my mind. I'm watching the tube day and night. I'm stuck on the game shows. Hey, did you know Pat Sajak has George Jones' eyes? I'm stuck on the game shows. Hey, did you know Pat Sajak has George Jones' eyes?